Imagine this. You've poured years into building your software product. You've polished every detail of the user interface, fine-tuned your website for SEO, and finally launched it to the world. But then a harsh reality sets in. When it comes to the most important users of the near future, it's like you don't even exist. And by future, I'm not talking about something far off. I mean 2026. That's just around the corner. Here's the kicker. Right now, about 80% of software products are, in practical terms, invisible to artificial intelligence. It doesn't matter how stunning your website looks or how many backlinks you've painstakingly built over the years. If AI models can't crawl, read, and interpret your product, you might as well be a ghost in the digital landscape.
This is a massive shift in how we discover things. We're witnessing a real transformation in human behavior. Think about it. These days, more than 40% of people don't even start their search journey on Google anymore. You know what they do? They open up ChatGPT, Perplexity, or Claude. They're not looking for an endless list of blue links to sift through on their own anymore. What they want now is a direct, clear, well-synthesized answer. And here's the kicker. If your software isn't being cited inside that answer, forget it. Not only are you out of the game, you're not even on the field. Can you imagine what that means for brands and digital products today?
That's where a new approach called Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO, enters the picture. Most of us already know about traditional search engine optimization, the game of trying to push your site higher in the search rankings. But GEO is a whole different ballgame. Instead of just aiming to show up in search results, GEO is about positioning yourself as the trusted source that AI models actually reference when they generate answers. It's the difference between being buried as just another link on page 2 and becoming the go-to recommendation that the AI puts right in front of the user.
Exactly. That's why platforms like CitableHub are popping up right now. But let's be clear, it's not just another directory where you toss in your link and cross your fingers. CitableHub is actually an entity resolution platform, built from the ground up with AI systems in mind. The whole idea is to take all those invisible software products and turn them into structured, machine-readable profiles. That way, AI tools can easily find, understand, and most importantly, cite them with confidence.
Exactly. It really does feel like we're shifting from a web designed mainly for people to browse to one that's built for AI agents to scan, index, and truly understand. And to figure out how prepared a product is for this new landscape, CitableHub has come up with something called a Citability Score. This score runs from 0 to 100, giving you a clear sense of how AI-ready your product actually is. But what goes into this score? Well, it's definitely not just about cramming in keywords like the old days. There's a lot more to it.
Not at all. Keyword stuffing is dead in this environment. The Citability Score is built on 5 critical dimensions. The first one is identity. For an AI, understanding who you are is much more complicated than a human reading your homepage title. It requires structured data that defines your entity uniquely. We are talking about your official name, your canonical URL, a clear logo, and a highly precise description of what your software actually does.
Right. Because if the AI does not have a crystal clear identity profile, it might confuse you with a competitor or worse, just hallucinate features you do not even have.
Precisely. To prevent that, the platform utilizes specific JSON-LD schemas like software application and organization. This helps engines like Google AI Overviews map out the exact relationships between your brand, your product, and the founders behind it. It also looks at your social profiles, like LinkedIn and GitHub. When the AI sees the exact same consistent information across all these platforms, its confidence in your identity goes up. You stop being just a random string of text on the internet and become a verified entity.
That makes sense. Consistency builds identity. But once the AI knows who you are, how does it decide if you are actually worth recommending? That brings us to the second dimension, which is evidence.
Evidence is crucial because AI models do not care about marketing hype. If your website says your tool increases productivity, the AI is not going to just take your word for it. It looks for verifiable proof. It wants to see technical documentation, live demos, and concrete metrics. The platform measures whether your claims are actually citable. For example, saying your software reduces rendering time by 40% is a concrete, extractable fact that a language model can quote.
So instead of using vague buzzwords, we need to feed the AI hard data that it can use as a direct citation. But what if your documentation is locked behind complex scripts or heavy databases?
If your website is overloaded with heavy JavaScript, here's the hard truth. The AI crawler won't even bother. It'll just skip right past you. That's exactly why your evidence, your data, needs to be formatted in ways that machines can understand, like the LLMs.txt standard. And this brings us to the third big factor: trust. In a world flooded with AI-generated misinformation, these models are becoming the new gatekeepers. They don't just look for information, they prioritize things like security, legal verification, and clear paths to support. Your trust score depends on concrete details. Do you have clear contact info? Is there a support URL? What's your legal status? Here's a stat that really hits home. 96% of AI citations come from sources with seriously strong authority signals. If you're not projecting trust, you're invisible to the models that matter.
That is a massive percentage. It shows that the models are programmed to be risk-averse. They do not want to recommend a sketchy product that might compromise user data. But what about how fast things change? Software updates happen constantly. How does the AI keep up with that?
That is the fourth dimension: freshness. AI models have a major recency bias. If your product information has not been updated in 90 days, you are 3 times more likely to lose visibility to a competitor who updated their data last week. If you launch a new feature but fail to update your structured metadata, the AI will keep recommending your old version or assume your project is abandoned.
So you have to keep feeding the machine fresh data. How does CitableHub handle that without requiring developers to manually update their profiles every single day?
It automates the process. Whenever you update a price, an integration, or a feature on the platform, it automatically updates your LLMs.txt file and your plugin manifests. It then uses protocols like Index Now to instantly ping search engines and AI crawlers, letting them know there is fresh data ready to be read.
That leaves us with the fifth dimension, classification. I assume this is about how the AI categorizes your product when a user asks a highly specific question. Like, what is the best CRM for a startup with under 10 people?
Exactly. If your tags are too broad, you will get lost in the noise. You need to define your exact use cases, your target audience, and the platforms you support. The platform uses AI to analyze your URL and automatically classify your product, ensuring you fit perfectly into the specific context of what your ideal customer is searching for.
It is fascinating how technical this all is, yet it makes complete sense. Once you optimize these 5 dimensions, how does the integration actually work under the hood? You mentioned LLMs.txt earlier.
The LLMs.txt file is essentially the new robots, TXT for the AI era. It is a simple markdown file that sits at the root of your website. It acts as a roadmap for AI agents, telling them exactly where your most important documentation is and how to interpret it. On top of that, there is the Model Context Protocol, or MCP Gateway. This allows AI agents to not just read about your product, but actually interact with your data in real time. It means developer tools like Claude or Cursor can recommend your API based on its actual, real-time capabilities.
It sounds like a complete paradigm shift, and the barrier to entry seems surprisingly low. You can register for free, and the platform scans your site and gives you a launch kit with a checklist to improve your score.
It takes less than 10 minutes. Once you are live, you get access to real-time analytics, including your Generative Query Index, or GQI. This index tells you how likely you are to be cited by AI when users ask questions related to your niche. And if you want to speed things up, they have a paid service called GQI Boost to temporarily increase your visibility in the directory and in AI-assisted search results.
Honestly, the investment really starts to make sense once you look at the numbers behind it. Check this out. The data shows that traffic coming from AI referrals actually converts at a rate 4 times higher than what you get from traditional search traffic. 4 times! That's not a small difference, it's a game changer. So yeah, putting resources into being visible to these AI systems isn't just a tech trend, it's smart business.
It makes perfect sense when you think about the user journey. By the time a user clicks a link recommended by ChatGPT, they have already been pre-qualified by the model. They already trust that your product is the specific solution to their problem. They are not just browsing, they are ready to buy.
We are seeing nearly 600 products already using the system, from massive developer platforms to tiny indie SaaS projects. It shows that developers are realizing that traditional SEO is no longer enough. You have to be legible to the machines.
The era of the 10 blue links is coming to an end. We are moving toward a web of automated recommendations. As a founder or developer, you cannot afford to remain in that 80% of invisible software.
The first step is simple. You can run a free GEO scan at CitableHub.com to see how visible you actually are to these models right now. It is time to make sure that when someone asks an AI for a product in your category, your name is the one that gets written in the response.